My re-experience with Super Mario RPG for the Nintendo Switch. Now, let's watch some Peach, shall we? Like the intro movie. Mario. Look at the boy. Gino. Bowser. Peach. Off the beanstalk section, Jesus. I wanted to show the whole intro on that before I started talking about my re-experience with Super Mario RPG Remake. So you might be wondering why I decided to make this video is because I wanted to, I felt like my YouTube short when I made the initial, like, my experience video with it, I felt like it was good, but, like, since it was, like, in a YouTube shorts form and I was going through like kind of like a thing where I wanted to only post things about YouTube Shorts because YouTube Shorts I thought was like the only thing that was like worth the damn or really cool, But a part of me was like, you know what? I kind of want to get like way more of my thoughts in on like Super Mario RPG and stuff, like the remake. I want to like dedicate an entire live stream to it now. Like other than me, going through the entire game over a year ago and stuff, doing all the bosses, secret bosses, all that stuff. I want to, like, actually just dedicate some time to it. Because why not? I want to talk about it again. I want to have an excuse to make a video talking about it again. And yes, we are going back to the old school style of my experience for this one, where I have notes written down. Because usually, I would remember everything off the top of my head. And I do remember a lot about this game, but since there's a lot of like new mechanics and shit in this game that, my brain just kind of remembers like how the original was in a lot of ways. So it's like there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to be like talking about slash kind of forgetting about. So anyways, I digress. I'll be right back. I need to share this on Discord. Alright, I am back. As I mentioned, I want to talk about Super Mario RPG Remake and what it does right and what it does wrong, right? So, let's start with the first thing on my notes here. So, if you wanted to buy Super Mario RPG Remake and you have never played it before, like a day in your life, this game, if you're wondering, does this remake change anything from the original? Does it really, like, other than looks, obviously, does it really do anything different, right? Well, the answer is yes, it does do something a little different, but that's mostly like either dialogue changes, like for example, they get rid of the Bruce Lee reference, they get rid of um a lot of funny character names and stuff, like for example, like or Yorkovich goes to Spiritovich and stuff, which is number two of what I'm talking about on the notes here. Talk about like boss names or character names changing. Like for example, like Princess Toadstool is updated to just being called Princess Peach, which no one's really gonna mind that change because that's kind of how Peach went by in the '90s. Not really anymore. Um, yeah, but anyways, other than like small dialogue changes, like getting rid of some references and putting in some other shit there that was closer to the Japanese original version of Super Mario RPG and stuff, the base game is not changed in terms of gameplay, and while it is changed, gameplay is a little changed in some ways, but not like to like a crazy extent where it's completely over. Well, in a way, it's completely overhauled, but at the same time, it's not. It's complicated. Okay, it's complicated. I'll explain that when we get to it. But the base game, like for its story, is identical 1-to-1. All the locations you go to are the same. And one thing I also want to mention that is really cool, on the world map, whenever you get around to that, and you don't know where you go next, there's also a little flag to indicate, and keep this in mind whenever you're playing. There's also, I think either most of the time or all the time, there's like a little flag kind of showing you where you need to go next to kind of lead you to the next area if you don't already know. Like if you don't read the dialogue, you're trying to skip through it or something, you have those little flags to kind of indicate where the next story beat is. And I think that is amazing. That is awesome for especially other players. And also, again, there's also more smaller changes that are trying to be closer to like the Japanese side of the game. So I wanted to mention that before we kind of continue, right? So one of the biggest problems that original Super Mario RPG had in comparison to the remake was the fact that the original Super Mario RPG didn't actually have like 3D graphics. If you remember, the game was basically based entirely off of sprites. Mario and friends were designed sprite-wise, so similar to how like Donkey Kong Country style was, and like Kulex and other characters were styled in like a different way. And because of that, and because of how like the level design looked in the original game, aka like all the original set pieces were obviously transitioned to 3D, but a lot of people struggled with the fact that depth perception. There was a massive depth perception problem in the original. Like for example, whenever you wanted to make quick jumps, whenever the game asked you to do platforming, you would struggle on that because the game wasn't really truly 3D, so you couldn't really get a good perception of where should I jump at this point in time, how should I jump, how should I handle this platforming section. Super Mario RPG Remake does have that depth perception problem, but it's on a way lesser scale because everything in the game now is completely 3D, completely re-looked, remodeled and stuff. Obviously, all the level design and world design is the same, but it's like, when you want to do platforming and all that other sort of stuff, the actual remote here is 3D. It isn't like a flat 2D image that's trying to act 3D. It's a legit 3D object. So your depth perception, you should have a lot. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you should have a much easier time with this version in comparison if you ever try to play the original version. By the way, the original version still really holds up. It's still an amazing RPG as well. I just want to say for anyone that has like an issue, like any beginner / casual player or somebody that prefers newer games and stuff and never got around to playing the original RPG, I think the 3D graphics would really help a lot. Also, everyone in terms of 3D models, cute little chibi Bowser, cute little chibi Mario and Geno and Mallow and stuff, they all look so adorable in this game. They look like little huggable little plushies, and it's really cool. I remember so many people were like, "Short Stack Peach the thing." I was like, bro, what the fuck? I remember when that happened when the game first came out. It was wild. It was an insane time period. I might show you guys my first my reaction to Super Mario RPG, which got like 2.5K. But anyways, I digress. So this is one of the new things that Super Mario RPG Remake adds, and it's now that you have a triple move gauge. That once you build up, you can unleash a powerful ultimate for all of your team members, and it's actually completely different depending on what team you use. So certain characters will basically be in these specials. So for example, I probably will show you them all. So let me show you like Super Mario RPG's triple move like specials. Like what do they look like? What do they do? They cause like massive damage to enemies. This also helps Super Mario RPG get like sped up in a lot of ways. Yeah. Super Mario RPG Remake triple attack. Like all triple moves, all triple attack moves and everything. So let me show you. Alright. So this is an ad. God damn it. No.
Pure, clean.
Anyways. So this is called Star Riders. So this is activated with Mario, Geno, and Mallow, and this is also where they unleash it, or they show you how to do it. Well, not show you how to do it, but, this is like the real first super move. Right? Which you can only activate this move if you have Geno and Mallow in your party. Clown Car Barrage with Mallow, Bowser, and Mario in your party. Right? This looks amazing, by the way. I love this special move, because it hits all attacking enemies. It hits multiple enemies at once. It doesn't just hit one, it hits multiple enemies. The first one only hits one enemy. This one hits multiple targets. Shooting Star Shot is also an attack, triple attack, but only for one opponent. If I'm not mistaken. It might hit all people, I'm not sure, I can't remember, it's been a while. Oh, I guess it does hit, oh no, it only hits one person. Well, it sort of hits two people. It's kind of weird how it works. This is Starry Shell Spike, right? Yeah, Starry Shell Spike, which Peach, Mario, and Bowser have to be in your party for this triple move. Which, by the way, triple moves are so fun to pull off. Healing Rainbow is basically like Mallow unleashing his power to heal. Basically, it heals all to such a massive degree. And I think it even heals people in the party, if I'm not mistaken. Or Spare Us All does that. Which you have to have Geno and Peach on your team to do Spare All. Which Spare All is pretty much like the Mallow move. In a weird way. Or maybe a more underutilized way. But it also gives you a barrier, which is really cool. Shields you all from shit. So it's actually really dope. As you can see what it does. It gives you like defense boost and stuff. Anyways, I digress, right? So that's like triple moves and why they're so cool and, all that stuff. So welcome, Tim Burners. Welcome, Waluigi Brinkster. I'm talking about Super Mario RPG's remake. So that's if you're wondering what I'm here talking about today. Also, they kind of forgot to mention one, the Toad Assist. Basically, the Toad Assist is where Toad comes in. You basically hit a chest block. Toad comes in and says, hey Mario, what's good? Here's a random item that'll help you out in this battle real quick. That's literally what Toad Assist is. It's kind of like one of the more lamer, like triple moves, but you don't really need like three people to activate this once your triple move gauge is filled up. All you need is like two party members. For example, if you have like Mario and Mallow, Mario Geno, Mario Peach, Mario Bowser, and only those two are alive in your party, I think Toad Assist will be like the one that comes out. It's obviously the worst special move in the game in comparison to everything else. So, number 5, this is something I am going to talk about. So, collecting frog coins is so much easier in this remake because of the special enemies. So, for example, whenever you are playing the game in Super Mario RPG, there will be enemy encounters that are called special enemies. And these special enemies at least drop 1 frog coin per battle, right? It's every other battle you interact with, like every other few battles you get yourself into, you will meet a special enemy, an enemy that is so special that literally, they have a little bit more HP, they deal a little bit more damage, and they're a little bit more threatening than like a normal enemy, just by a teeny tiny smidge. And what are frog coins? For anyone that doesn't know, frog coins can help you get like special ring items or special equipment. Like for example, an equipment that can, speed up your, XP. Like how much XP do you get in comparison to all the other characters, or what you get normally. Frog coins can be used for like, other special items like Signal Ring, where you basically go around trying to find all the other hidden chests in the world and whatnot. It's a whole thing. But I digress. I think collecting frog coins is best in this version because of that, because it also allows like people that are playing this casually to at least get enough frog coins to at least buy one of those special items, because in the original there was no such thing as special enemies that would give frog coins. So however you collected them in the original, which was going in the world, finding random chests that just contained them, it was either that or you did like certain mini games to try to grab them. I can't remember exactly, since it's been a while since I played the original, like beginning, middle to end, because I've just been playing the remake version that adds a little bit more content, you know what I mean? So it's like, or changes some things for the better, and it's like, damn, they really made this sort of the definitive version. But anyways, I digress. There's so many things they could have added, which I will go into detail about in like a later period, right? But anyways, also another thing, I want to add this before we go on to number 6 on our list. The original creator for Super Mario RPG, whenever this remake was being made, Nintendo did not call him up to do this game. So someone completely different came in and did this game. Which, in my opinion, I think that's kind of hoey, that you're not going to call the dude who originally got this idea going to join the new team to help make the game. I think that's kind of stupid, in my opinion. Even if everyone else is completely different, I really wish, like, hey, the dude from the original game, got called in and said, hey, let's make this happen. I kind of wish Nintendo got the original man to do this version of the game. I would love to see what he would have added, but I digress. It's still a great remake nonetheless, but it's like, I really would have wished to see what my mans would have added if he was a part of the team. So that's something I also wanted to add. Number 6, Super Mario RPG adds a breezy mode, aka an easy mode, when it's truly not needed. So, for some reason, I have no idea why, but Super Mario RPG adds a breezy mode. And what is breezy mode? Breezy mode, again, is basically like an easy mode for players that, need that extra assistance, right? Keep in mind, I've played the original Super Mario RPG. I know the ins and outs, I know where to grab everything. Grab the lazy shell, grab the lazy shell armor, and I won't lie to you guys, once you grab the lazy shell armor, this game is fucking easy, bro. The lazy game armor and the lazy shell, like Mario's ultimate weapon, dude, this game is a fucking breeze. You put the lazy shell on Peach, you'll practically, like, never lose. The only person that can probably kick your ass is probably Cool X3D. He's probably, like, the only one that would genuinely give you, even with the lazy shell, somewhat trouble. That's how broken the lazy shell is, dude. It's that broken. But I digress. I feel like breezy mode, in my opinion, in this game, it wasn't in the original. Why is it here? I know it's one of the more more worthless additions in my opinion, because I kind of felt like this wasn't really needed. An easy mode for Super Mario RPG when it's already a pretty easy RPG in comparison to like other Final Fantasies, like the older ones and stuff like that, or Chrono Trigger, or Dragon Quest and shit, or not Dragon Quest. Well, yeah, I think Dragon Quest. Either way, you guys know it. Like in comparison to those RPGs, this one's sort of it's easier. It's easier for people to get into. So I don't get it why they needed a breezy mode. I felt like that was kind of stupid, but I digress. Also, in the menu, they also have an auto run feature in the menu. I didn't write this down, but I literally just remembered it. That other than like you can have like a modern display of control settings. You can also have a different control setting if you'd like to, which is cool. But they also give you an option like, hey, do you want to auto run everywhere, or do you want to like just not auto run? You have to press a button to run. In the original game, you had to press either the B button or like, I think it was either B or the Y button on the Super Nintendo, and then on the virtual consoles, like the B button with GameCube controller, you had to hold that button down constantly if you actually wanted to go like places faster. And I remember I liked that, but I remember it would always hurt my fingers after a while because I was like, dude, I want to auto run everywhere. I want to like get places quicker, dude, instead of just, basically what I'm trying to say is auto run makes it where you don't have to walk everywhere. I don't have to press a button anymore. I just auto run everywhere. That's why, like, I remember very early on in my Super Mario RPG playthrough that I did a year ago, and then even now, it's like I always have auto run on because I don't want to like hold a button every goddamn time. This isn't Super Mario Brothers 3 where I need to hold that bitch and it's kind of satisfying to hold that bitch and kind of keep your momentum going in the older Super Mario games, okay? This is an RPG where, especially in the original, it's fucking slow as shit. Like the walking speed is really slow, so it's like, Jesus, can we pick up the pace? Anyways, I digress. Let me get off that point. Also, I feel like this game, Super Mario RPG Remake, is actually a little bit faster than the original version. And I say that even with the added content because, the fact that the speed of the game is, since Mario can auto-run everywhere, dialogue, text speed is way faster. Menus are easier, simpler to go through. The game in general is faster, adds things to make it faster. So your overall game as well, if you're trying to get Super Mario RPG Remake, will be a faster experience if you let it be, or if you make it be, I mean. Number 7, this is something that I really enjoyed that they added. When successfully landing a perfectly timed hit with your normal attacks, it will deal damage to other enemies. So for example, this game has timed attacks. So for example, like Mario's hammer, you press the A button to interact with your hammer, and if you do it just right, another enemy right next to you will get 30 damage on them or 10 damage on them and stuff. Basically, again, they reward you for being able to, punish perfectly, like time your attack perfectly so you get extra damage upon enemies. Another thing that Super Mario RPG Remake adds that I didn't write down and I really wish I did, but I remembered in my Chrome Dome, is that you can actually block magic attacks. This was a massive annoyance in the original game because whenever you're playing the original game, no matter the magic attack, you could not block it. I'm talking regular fire attack, regular lightning attack, regular water or wind attack. A really weak version of it. You couldn't even block it in the original. In Super Mario RPG Remake, on the other hand, though, they allow you to actually block base magic attacks, like full on with this little block screen animation thing, or whatever. They allow you to block base magic, or even some stronger magic in the game. You are actually allowed to block in this version of the game, the remake of the game. So keep that in mind. Which I think is a massive plus because it basically, it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of healing. It saves you, some time. And also it adds to the triple gauge. And same with the perfectly timing your attacks also adds to the triple gauge. And also doing your, boost commands and your boost moves and all that other sort of stuff is nice. Also, move names have been changed. For example, like Mallow's, freaking... what was it? I can't remember the move name, but it was where Mallow looks into an enemy's, spirit or something, or looks into an enemy and wants to gauge them. It went from its old name to Thought Peak, kind of like Thousand Year Door, like with Goombella and stuff. So that's another really cool little thing I wanted to mention. So number 8, I put on my list the entirety of Bowser's Keep. Now, for me, I remember Bowser's Keep being one of the worst bits in the entire game for me, because there are 6 doors right in front of you, and these 6 doors are not the same as each other, right? They contain multiple different things, multiple different paths, multiple different ways you can go. And some of these rooms are based off of puzzles. Some of these rooms have guessing rooms in them. Some of them have platforming, and other rooms have battle rooms, aka where you just fight a bunch of monsters to gain XP and all that other sort of stuff. Now, when I was playing Super Mario RPG, the original, and even the remake, one of the worst bits is Bowser's Keep because of one of the puzzles. And if you guys remember the cannonball bit, the cannonball where you have to basically make all the cannonballs like disappear except for that one cannonball that you were kicking around to pass up that little room. I remember struggling on that in the original, and even in the remake, if I remember, I think I fucked up that room multiple times, and I remember really disliking Bowser's Keep just in general, not only just because of that room, but just because in general having the six different doors, and you have to beat at least 4 of those doors in order to pass it up, was really annoying for me because of those reasons I mentioned, right? Because of not only the cannonball room, but sometimes doing the guessing game is kind of annoying, and doing the guessing game of how many barrels are in the room is kind of stupid. I don't really care much for that. You know, the platforming is fine, obviously, because I love platforming, but, you know, the guessing games, the freaking riding the little cannonball with inverted type controls is annoying. I didn't really like that section. So it's like, for anyone that's wondering if that was patched out, if you really struggled with that, no, it's not patched out. Again, like I said, everything in the base game is the exact same. So it's like making the one thing I really want. And I even added Nintendo whenever the remake was coming out, like, hey, Nintendo, if you remake this game, can you please get rid of Bowser's Keep and change it to something more fun and more interesting, in my opinion? Because I won't lie. Yeah, I won't lie. Please change it. I don't want to be here anymore. But anyways, let's get on to something more interesting. I want to talk about the music for Super Mario RPG Remake, right? So I feel like a lot of people for Super Mario RPG's community really either love the OST or they really dislike the OST, right? So I want to give y'all, like, you know, a little, basically like a little example, right, of the music, right? So in Super Mario RPG Remake, you have a choice. Bright Gamer, welcome to my stream. Talking about Super Mario RPG Remake, like a little review, or a big old re-review, or a re-look at Super Mario RPG's Remake that came out, like, back in, like, 2020. Anyways, I digress. So, the music, you are allowed to change the music from modern day to OG, or OG to modern day. So, meaning I get to listen to, you know, for example, let me just put on the original battle theme, right? The fight against monsters. Here you go. I get to put on this, and then we get to go to the remake OST, right? And I get to swap it from that to that, or vice versa. I get to, basically, because, you know, the game obviously has the remake versions on right out the gate. And they remade everything. Yoko Shimura also came back. The original music designer for this game also came back. So it's also really cool that she gets a second dabble into, you know, her stuff. Anyways, here's the fight against monsters, Super Mario RPG Remake, which in my entire playthrough of Super Mario RPG, I had the entire remake OST on, so, like, you know, so I can, like, hear what it was about and what it was like. But anyways, here you go. So the music, like I said, for Super Mario RPG is phenomenal. I love it. I actually even love like the remake version. Though there are some times where I do feel like, hey, maybe the original is better here. I'm not a purist. I'm not like 100% purist, but like sometimes I feel like I uh I would rather like prefer like the original OST sometimes from some of the modern day tracks and stuff. Though what's funny, and I want to mention this because I feel like this is kind of funny, and I'm surprised no one else has mentioned this. But there's a lot of people out there that either feel like like I remember this one Super Mario RPG YouTuber that really hated the normal battle theme music so much that when the remake came out, they made the battle theme actually good for him. And I was sitting there like, bro, the battle, like, because he enjoyed every other theme in the game, but the normal battle theme for him was just so bad. And the video had a lot of views, like, basically a lot of people also agreeing that the battle theme was annoying, and I can agree to some extent the battle theme can get annoying, especially in Bowser's Keep. But, like, other than that moment, the normal battle theme music from the original game is nowhere near as bad as you're making it out to be. Even though, for people that really, like, take a keen ear on music, they can, hear that it repeats after, like, 3 seconds. So it's like, hey, what the fuck? But it's like, still, it's like, the music is really good, man. I don't see the issue. I really don't see the issue. The level up screen in the original versus the remake is completely different. So in the original game, whenever you leveled up, you get basically that one character coming out of a pipe and basically doing their idle animation stance or whatever or something, and basically you get to see what you choose to level them up with, right? In the remake, they all come out in this curtain on top of a stage, and they all dance for the respective person that actually got the level up, and I think that is such a cute little change, in my opinion, that it's so adorable. It is adorable. Very adorable. I love it. I love it. The platforming sections, I mentioned this earlier, but I forgot to mention something about certain platforming sections. So again, with the 3D depth perception, it is, again, still going to, like, fuck with you in a lot of ways, but at the same time, there's probably, like, one section I still feel like is pretty bad, which is the beanstalk section in the cloud world whenever you get to, like, Mallow's home. In the game in Super Mario RPG Remake, I feel like the Beanstalk section is going to still fuck with so many people. And I know, again, Nintendo wanted to keep it completely original, all the original set pieces, all of its original level design, one-to-one with the original, and not really, like, change too much of that because they wanted to have the same formula as the original, so, like, people can literally experience the original game. But it's like, I kind of wish they changed the Beanstalk section in that little bit of the game to make it a little easier for players that struggle with platforming bits in the game. That's something. Another point I want to mention, the game for the most part, 9 times out of 10, it runs extremely smooth. But sometimes if you do like have slowdown, it's gonna be like in the weapon world area, because I remember when I was playing Super Mario RPG, replaying it like today, or last night, and I remember when I was in Weapon World, I actually, for the first time in my remake playthrough, this is very rare, this isn't like a common occurrence, but this is rare as fuck, but it still happens. You will get slowed down if there's too many like enemies like on the screen at once. Like, not like in battle, but I'm talking about like out of battle, like when you're just like going around the area and stuff, running around as Mario and shit. You will have like some slowdown. Also, only having like 3 files instead of like 4 files in the original Super Mario RPG is actually a little weird. I want to mention that because I was kind of like, wait, we only have 3 files in one autosave file. That is fucking weird. Which autosaving, by the way, this game is autosaving. Before, Super Mario RPG did not have autosaving. So, if you ever felt like the need to, like, like, I don't feel like regular saving, but, this autosave is nice, you have autosaving in the Super Mario RPG's remake, which is actually really, really fucking cool. I love that idea that, it has all that. But there's also another thing I really want to talk about, and it is the secret bosses, right? So, obviously for all the original bosses in the game, they kept like their original design. They also kept the original Cool X fight the exact same, with the original music playing in the background for his original fight. But Super Mario RPG Remake has secret boss fights that I want to talk about. Super Mario RPG secret boss fights. Right? So, basically, this remake, which is so cool for this, they decided to go into the game and have you replay everything. And it's amazing, right? So, not this boss right here, but anyways, let me show you what I'm talking about. Right? So, we go through all the boss again. Now, let me go back at the end game. The base Kulex right here, by the way. Balome. You get Balome, Punchinello, Booster, Bundit, Johnny, Jinx, and then the real deal. So I'm going to talk about each of these individually because they all deserve that energy. So when Balome comes back, basically, odd topic, Bully McGuire Dan's iconic. Yes, it is. Very much is. So basically, Balome comes back and is basically a way longer fight, basically. Right? And I'm talking way longer than last time. Like, this dude took me, I think if I'm not mistaken, when I first fought him, it took me like over 30 minutes to beat Balome the rematch, or not the rematch, but the post-game Balome fight, because you fight him 3 times in this game. And to be real, I remember at first I was extremely like disappointed that, and I get it, why they only had certain enemies from the base game be post-game fights. And you guys know me with secret boss fights or anything like post-game. It's like, you're a post-game, do something crazy, do something drastic. I'm all about that energy when it comes to post-game secret bosses. And I remember when I fought these guys again, Balome, again, the dude that takes extremely long, I was disappointed because I'm like, I already know where these secret bosses are going. I was excited because, the new content, the way they introduce it and go about it was really cool too. I actually kind of want to show you that a little bit. So, like, for example, like, after you beat Kulex and stuff, base Kulex, they're kind of like, oh, shit. Like, Gino senses something in the realm, and it was such a cool cutscene. It was like, Gino senses something, and there's a lot of enemies back after, Smithy died. But anyways, let's talk about Punchinello, right? So Punchinello was extremely weird, right? His fight was weird, because it's like, I'm sorry, it's just weird, right? How you fight him. They talk for a bit, and basically, Punchinello wasn't lying. His defenses was extremely strong, because it only does 2 damage. Most of your moves don't even fucking phase him, and you're wondering, why am I not feeling all these moves? So, the trick to beating him, for anyone wondering, the trick to beating this guy is basically when he throws bombs out, you need to, and I'm going to show y'all when you get into his fight, right? You need to make the bombs turn around and basically make the bombs hit him. When I fought Punchinello and actually figured that out for the first time, I remember I said this secret boss fight was worth it. It didn't just feel like a way more dragged out refight like Balome's. It felt like a new fight. It felt like a fight with the same dude, but with the twist that I actually enjoyed. Oh, and since it's not like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat where you fight the same 4 bosses like every other world, it's like, hey, they get 1 or 2. I'll probably say Balome was the only one that was kind of stretching it by doing 3, having 3 matches in the entire thing. But anyways, I digress. Punchinello was completely original, and I loved it that you had to make his bombs, go back at him, and it gets harder and harder as the secret boss kind of goes along, and it's amazing. Booster also has a rematch fight. And this dude was annoying because I remember it took me forever to beat him as well. Oh, and also keep this in mind, whenever you beat some of these secret bosses, they all get a respective weapon. So, for example, when you fight Balome, the rematch with Balome, I'm going to go back real quick because I forgot to mention this. Let me back out, go back in, and then,
at DOS, an ordinary
let me talk about Balome. So whenever you get to Balome's secret post-game fight and you beat him, This is spoilers, by the way, for anyone wondering. Mallow gets a golden froggy stick weapon, which is his most powerful weapon in the entire game. It's his endgame secret weapon, or his endgame best weapon. So from below you get Mallow's little weapon. I think either from Punchinello, because only Bowser, Mallow, and Geno get special weapons. I can't remember if it was Punchinello that gives you Geno's secret weapon, or Booster gives him the secret weapon, but it was one of these three, one of these two fights. Actually, no, I think it was Booster that gives Geno his secret weapon, because, you know, Booster's all about creating little toys and figures, which basically gives Geno this incredible star shot. Oh, and by the way, every 5 turns, Booster here will one-shot you, which, that's a problem, and then trying to work your way around it is actually kind of annoying. With his train attack, he'll one-shot you. I think even in his base fight, he'll do that, but also his fight really drags out because his Shy Guys here are stupid strong. But anyways, I digress. That's all about this fight. Now, this fight doesn't really give you anything special with the cake, but this is easily one of the most confusing fights in Super Mario RPG Remake, because this also has a strat to it, kind of like Punchinello. So, if you damage him too much, this cake, Bundit, will have a one-shot move that will one-shot the entire party, if not even with the Lazy Shell equipped. Also, Booster shit will also one-shot you even with the Lazy Shell equipped to any of the characters, so watch out for that as well. And I'm not sure if Balome has a one-shot move, but I know Bundy does, and I know Booster does. I obviously know, you know, True Form Kulex does, and Punchinello also can be a problem if you don't have, like, Lazy Shell on or whatever, but it makes the fights more interesting if you don't have it on, so it's like, you know, whatever. But you make my point. You get my point. So basically what you have to do is this entire fight, you have to make Abundant fall asleep. And if you don't make him fall asleep in 5 turns, he will one-shot your whole party. And basically, you have to use either Peach's mute or sleepy time technique to constantly make him sleep, and have Mario here super jump on his bitch ass over and over and over until this fucker dies. Basically, or use items to make him go to sleep. I think there's an item that helps you have sleep items on, so keep that in mind when you're fighting Bundit the Cake for your first time, y'all. I'm trying to help y'all out, so this fight can be shorter, because I remember this fight took me over 40 minutes to beat. Johnny's post-game match was not that bad, and pretty easy, all things considered. And I think it was either on Johnny or Jinx, Bowser gets his weapon. Or it's either Punchinello, Bowser gets his weapon from that, or maybe he gets his shit from Booster. I can't remember which boss fight Bowser gets his. But Jinx took a little bit longer than him, in my opinion. He was, like, way stronger and more dangerous for Jinx, so yeah, that's something. But the real deal was this. Now keep this in mind. I want to give y'all the lore of the secret boss of Kulex, right? So, in the original game, Kulex's boss fight was so iconic for many years because of the whole Final Fantasy IV theme in the background. You know, whenever you think of his theme, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And if you're a Mario fan, you would realize that as Kulex's battle theme if you grew up playing Super Mario RPG anyway. If you didn't, then you won't realize this theme, and you know, you won't get the story behind Kulex as a character. But for everyone that knows about Kulex, was he going to get his true form? Because when you beat him in the original, he talks about how, I wish I could obtain the same form that you guys have, because when you fight him originally, he's a sprite. You know, like I said, I'll even show the original fight here a little bit, just to kind of give y'all a little bit of something. You know, what does it mean, you know, for us to fight Kulex? As you can see, he's in this sprite-based form, and you fight him in that sprite-based form at first with the original theme, as you can hear. Oh, beautiful. FF4, that's the one thing you did right. That fucking battle music, man. And also, shout out to everyone on the Super Mario RPG team, the original team, aka Yoko Shimura, for giving this a more Mario tweak. Ugh, beautiful. Best theme in the game. Best boss fight in the game, in my opinion, too, for the original and this game. Best fight. Kulex is easily the best fight. Sorry for gassing him up. It's just, you guys know, I have an entire my experience talking about Kulex as a character. He deserved it. You know, he's fucking hype, right? So whenever you fought this being and you beat him, he dissolves, and he's also wondering, hey, one day I'm gonna come back stronger so I can whoop your ass, so I can take over. Basically, Kulak's in this form, if you basically don't get rid of him, he was gonna put this entire, he was gonna fuck with the entirety of time and space and put everything in his path into this looming darkness. And if you didn't get rid of him, he was gonna do that shit, So that's the lore of Kulak in like a nutshell, right? It's basically, he comes out of nowhere. He thinks he's a Square Enix character, and he thinks he can do shit. And it's like, he also fucks with time and space. So, everyone, I remember, spoiled this day one. And I was so excited for this fight, because I remember when I got Super Mario RPG, I didn't beat it day one. I beat it like day 3. I had it. Because obviously I was doing Super Mario RPG in parts, not trying to rush the game, because I didn't want to rush my experience. And I also wanted to make multiple streams, because I'm like, you know what? If I didn't replay the original all the way through, I'm going to at least play the remake all the way through. That includes doing the Kulix fights and all that other sort of shit. So, after you beat every other boss in the game, this includes all the secret bosses, you beat original Kulix as well, you will obtain, and this includes secret bosses that we just talked about, you obtain one of the easily the best fights in a long time. And keep in mind, that Kulix lore about him wanting to become a third-dimensional being, just like Mario and them, and be on the same plane as them, that was like over 20 years in the making. And then seeing this moment was absolutely insane. Also, regular Kulix in this game gives you an extra shiny stone, so base Kulix gives you the thing to help you, or it's either that, or it's Johnny or somebody else that gives you it, but you get my point. Right? So it's like, they're wondering, like, why the fuck, it's the one that had a flat form. They're figuring out, like, why is Kulix back? What is he gonna do? And and this is some of my favorite shit, like, denizens of the 3-dimensional world, our paths cross once more. You have used your great strength to, oh, damn, bitch, skip the dialogue. Now I felt like Dave. You have used your great strength to grant the wishes of powerful people. The force of your strength resonated with my own wishes, enabling me to obtain a greater evil power and return to this plane. You shall see this power unfold. Hehe, feast your eyes. This new form is worthy of your 3-dimensional world. I return to this world remade. I am matter and antimatter. I am past, present, and future. I will consume time and everything in my fucking weight. My evil power is in harmony with the 3-dimensional world, and now it's gonna crush it to no end. And seeing Kulix 3D for the first time made so many people scream out in happiness, because so many of us grew up with Kulix fighting the original over and over, wondering if he's actually ever going to get his 3rd-dimensional form, if he's ever going to be on the same existence as Mario and friends. And keep this in mind, the Kulix that you're fighting in this fight, for the secret boss fight, the final secret fight, is no fucking joke. And I'm going to tell you why. Because every 5 turns, you dish out this move called Meteor, the move you just saw, that will do this to you. And I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you, right? Look what he does. 1 HP. Every 5 turns, you have to work around Kulix 3D with all his crystals active. Anyway, make sure you get rid of all the crystals first. Don't try to kill Kulix 3D first on this boss fight, because if you kill him first, the crystals will actually resurrect him. So that's something. But anyway, so every 5 moves, you have to work around your team going down to 1 HP. So make sure you heal a lot during this fight, and make sure you're full HP whenever Kulix 3D, does his meteor move. Otherwise, you're actually completely dead. You have to use P or something to heal your party members and all that other sort of shit. Also, another thing I forgot to mention in this game is when all 3 of your party members die in this game, and if you have, like, your full party, aka, Mario, Bowser, Geno, Peach, and Mallow, right? You have all 5 of your party members, and if 3 of them die, the other 2 party members will actually come in and actually keep you in the fight. So, It's not like Persona 5 or other games, and I know I should have mentioned this way earlier, but it's not like Persona 5 where if Joker dies, no matter how many teammates you have, the game is fucking over, right? No, if Mario dies, it's fine. Other party members will take his place, or we'll take the place of the other two on the party member, because you can't really get rid of Mario in this game. Kind of like the P5 and other RPGs that you can't really replace the main pro tag. You can replace everyone else, but not the main pro tag. But anyways, you get the point, right? So, Cool X 3D as a boss fight was extremely awesome. I remember going through it. I spent 2 to 3 videos suffering 100% tenfold going through this fight. If you guys remember, I spent like 3 hours one stream, and then I spent like 3 to 4 whole hours like dedicating my time trying to beat this guy for the first time. And keep this in mind as well, I had no idea about this until after I beat him, and then I did research and seeing how many people fought him and stuff. This motherfucker is easily like so much stronger than his original counterpart, because he has max HP. Each crystal has over 12,000 HP. So it's like, or about 12,000. I think the crystals stay the same in terms of HP, or maybe each of them are at 15,000, and some of them have like around there, like 13, 14, maybe 12,000 HP. And it's like Cool X with 9999999 HP. The crystals with 12 to 15,000 HP. It also gives buffs to Cool X, like strength buff, defense buff, when they break anyway. It's like this fight was ludicrous. I remember people online beating him in 12 turns, beating him in 5 turns, beating him in 10 turns, beating him in 15 turns. It took me about 31, 32, maybe even 40 turns to beat him my first time, but then I kept lowering it as time went along with Cool X 3D and stuff. And even now, fighting Cool X 3D is fucking cool, but I really find his boss fight nowadays really annoying. Mainly because of the simple fact that, like, trying to work around that fucking 5-turn bullshit is actually really annoying. I didn't think about it all that much after I beat Cool X on both Breezy and normal mode. So, I was sitting there kind of like, I don't know about this, man. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still a really good fight, but for me personally, I'm just kind of like, I don't do it nowhere near as often as original Cool X in the game, because I just find original Cool X more enjoyable to fight, like, over and over and over again, because it's like, this dude, like, the stress, they just fucking whip him up. They dial him up like 5,000 dials, and it's fucking nutty trying to fight Cool X 3D, dude. So, and also the theme is so different too whenever you hear it. It's like an orchestra version of it. It's so cool. And it's like, holy fuck, this fight is so much harder. Why? And then it's like when you finally beat Cool X, and he takes a fat minute to beat, no matter what, dude. If you're playing this normally, and you don't have, like, Mario Super Suit, you don't have everything. Oh, by the way, the 100 jumps exist in this remake, and I still have not done it, because it's just so hard for me. I would argue it's on the same level as Cool X 3D for me, because I still haven't done it. But that moment when you finally beat Cool X 3D is so satisfying, seeing Wither in the nothingness. And by the way, I want to keep this in mind. Cool X 3D, I think, might be the strongest we've ever seen a Mario secret boss, or other than Dreamy Bowser, because keep in mind, and I know this is not a power scaling video. I power scaled Mario in a video before this, but keep this in mind. Cool X in his 2D form was going to destroy time and space for Mario's entire world/universe and leave it with nothing with darkness, right? Since he's on the same plane as them now, and he was doing that as a flat being, he can destroy that much more, and he was going to go over to other universes and other spaces of time and do the same thing to them. So after, let's say this, possibly he was going to be done with Mario if he defeats Mario and them. He was not only going to destroy their entire universe, but he was going to go over to multiple different times and spaces, and also get rid of them and flood them with darkness. Kulix got that much stronger by just becoming a third-dimensional being, so keep that in mind, right? So it's like, it's crazy. Kulix scales like fucking, like a madman. Anyways, you beat him. That satisfaction in that Final Fantasy, yes, the Final Fantasy fanfare isn't a Mario game. It's that iconic that it made into a Mario game. Yes, it was also in the original when you beat Kulix in the original game too. But anyways, and you're sitting there, unbelievable. You have defeated me at my strongest in my third-dimensional form. The forces of malevolence have faded. I have lost my death, diminished once more to the form of a flat plane. I will withdraw to that land to regain my third-dimensional power and then await your return. Basically, what this means is that basically, you can actually refight this Kulix. So something I didn't mention about the original Kulix fight is once you beat it and you save over that same file, you cannot fight base Kulix ever again, just like the original game back in the 1990s / the original release of the game. You have to have a file, keep this in mind, you have to have a file that is basically right at the Kulix fight, the original Kulix fight, and basically either turn off the system or reset your system to actually, you know, reset that save file to keep refighting the original Kulix over and over and over again. And this also applies to the Nintendo Switch version of Super Mario RPG, but for Kulix 3D, on the other hand, they actually allow you to fight Kulix 3D over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you don't have to do the save file bullshit over and over and over and over again. I remember a lot of people were like kind of fucked by that, so they had to and keep this in mind, if you saved over that main file you did, you would have to basically refight Kulix all over again. You would have to basically the entire game, get the shiny stone, and do all that shit again, just to fight base Kulix again if you saved over your file, so keep that in mind. But with Kulix 3D, you don't have to really worry about that, and if Kulix 3D is the one you want to constantly keep refighting, basically the developer said, be my guest, keep refighting Kulix at his absolute peak, at his absolute strongest. You deserve it, my friends. We feel you. You deserve to have to fight Kulix for as many times as you like. And they also, like, you know, did this as well to see if players can beat them in 5, 10 turns, 12 turns. You know what I mean? Basically make Kulix look like a bitch. And I remember seeing online how many people beat Kulix like crazy. It was insane. But anyways. It took you 24 turns to defeat me this time. The gap between your power and mine has proven greater than I thought, I must admit it. Also, depending on how many turns you beat him, he will say different dialogue. So, for example, if you beat him in 30 turns, he talks about our powers evenly matched. If you beat him in 40 turns and beyond, he's like, you know, I thought you would beat me quicker than that. I'm pretty disappointed in you that you couldn't beat me like that, or something like that. It was something disappointing, but anyways. There is none more powerful than you. And then you got a crystal shard as a gift, a kind of a shitty gift. I await the destined one's return. And then he just walks away, and then you're done with the entire Super Mario RPG game. There is literally nothing left for you to do once you beat Kulix 3D in Super Mario RPG Remake. You beat the game, you beat all of its secret additional content. And since it's been about a year since I've played Super Mario RPG Remake, and I wanted to re-talk about, like, everything that made it so good and whatever. What's my new thoughts? What's my new stance on Super Mario RPG, like, Remake as a video game? I think it did wonders, you know, in remaking the base game. I still wish Bowser's Keep could have been changed to something more enjoyable, in my opinion, because I still dislike Bowser's Keep just as much as I did in the original. You know, other than that, I love the modern take on Super Mario RPG's OST. It's amazing, and I love how you can switch between them in game, and also after you beat the game, you also do unlock the music player, basically where you can listen to all the tracks in the game, modern and classic OST by just getting on the game and stuff. You don't even have to play through the game anymore to listen to those tracks. You can literally just get on the Super Mario RPG, you know, put the cartridge in or the digital version of the game and just whip up the music player. And it's such a cool unlockable after you beat the game. But anyways, the base game. You don't have to beat the whole game to get it, but you can just beat the base game. Anyways, I digress, right? I think Super Mario RPG Remake is great for those that just want to experience Super Mario RPG with like better graphics and with the new soundtrack and stuff and a little bit extra content, because obviously, you know, this version of Super Mario RPG is going to be a little bit better than the original and adds a little bit more than the originals and changes some things that keep more in line with the Japanese version. And I know there's going to be people out there that kind of prefer, like, you know, they're going to be purists and kind of prefer the original version, say the original version did it better, the battle system in there is better, and the OST is better, and whatever. But for me, I think they could have added some more content, in my opinion. I don't know why, but I feel like they could have added so much more shit to this game to, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, this version is phenomenal. I love what we got, but after playing it a few more times, like, and, you know, give it a year or two for me, you know, me personally, I still feel like Super Mario RPG could have been added more secret bosses. And I get it why the rematches, you know, with most of the secret bosses are pretty much just rematches with other characters, because they didn't want Cool X3D's moment to be outshined by any other character. But in my opinion, I felt like they should have done something crazy. They should have done something drastic other than Cool X going 3D. And again, I understand Belome and everyone coming back. That makes sense. But I really felt like they should have added something really cool to make this. I mean, it's still the definitive version of Super Mario RPG. It's the easiest version for you to snag. It's the easiest version for you to cop in today's space in comparison to the original game, where you probably have to go on eBay to buy it. But it's like, you could have added for a secret boss. You could have added a funny one, like Luigi as a secret boss fight, and then you unlock him as a secret team member in your party as the 6th party member, because, you know, everybody really wanted to see Luigi in the original, right? So it's like, you could have waited in this remake, added him as a secret boss, and then actually after that secret boss, unlock him as a playable, you know, fighter. That would have been so fucking cool. It would have been, Luigi would have definitely been such a cool secret boss to add, right? Or, you know what? You could go into the memes and basically have Mario and Luigi and your party members against Sephiroth. You could, it's Square Enix, for fuck's sake, fuckers. You could have had a Sephiroth boss fight. How did they miss this opportunity again? I get it. Again, in like the base game, why they didn't have Sephiroth, but it's like, you could have had Cool X 3D, and then you could have had Sephiroth for the Final Fantasy fans. You could have had like the real Bahamut. You could have had you could have had some cool ass because Final Fantasy has some cool ass bosses, and it's like, you didn't want to incorporate a little bit more Square Enix flavor into the game. I get it, you want to keep it Mario-y, because that's the whole point of a Mario RPG, to keep it Mario-y. But it's like, if you have Cool X 3D that has 99999 HP, and all the crystals are OP, and he's OP, it's like, why not have Sephiroth join the fray too, and have him fight Mario and friends, as like a canonical meeting up with this Sephiroth dude, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like Super Mario RPG fans would have been like, what the fuck? You know, in fighting Sephiroth. It would have been ludicrous. I bet people would have been talking about that online, just like the Cool X 3D boss fight, where it was all over the internet. That's all you saw was Sephiroth boss fight spoilers or whatever, and people's reviews would have been like going mad, going crazy. I would have wanted a Sephiroth boss fight. Matter of fact, I would have wanted a boss fight with fucking other Nintendo IP as secret boss fight characters. Like, okay, you get to fight Samus Aran. You know, you get to fight Link from The Legend of Zelda. You know, like when they had them in the game as like beta characters, because it was going to be Mario, Link, and Samus on this RPG originally. If you guys remember how the game was going to be made originally, but they got scrapped, obviously, and they only were in certain bits of Super Mario RPG, like Link sleeping and Samus sleeping. You could have had them as secret boss fights too, or you could have had like somebody else, like Kirby. It would have been cool if the secret bosses weren't just refights for 90% of it, and then you gave us the real banger, aka Cool X 3D. I'm just saying, it would have been cool if you did that, but I do understand why you went the route that you did, because you didn't want Cool X 3D to be outshined by other characters. I get that, but at the same time, you really missed an opportunity to add fucking Luigi, and I get it. It's not Mario and Luigi. You know, Luigi wasn't really a fully established character yet by this time, but still, you could have added Luigi as something. You could have added him as just a model in the game. You know, something, as my Luigi-ness would have shined through. Anyways, I'm talking about this game too long, you know what I mean? Super Mario RPG Remake, in general, other than secret bosses could have been different. You could have done some crazy shit with those, other than Cool X 3D. The bosses we got were amazing. I still enjoyed them, especially Cool X 3D. Though I don't really enjoy him that much anymore, because fighting him over and over again and going around that fucking 1H point shit is really annoying. It's still really annoying to me today, but I still love Super Mario RPG. Super Mario RPG is a video game that I can always go back to and be like, this is one of the greatest RPGs Square Enix and Nintendo ever worked on. And this remake actually sold, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, this remake actually sold 3.3 million copies as of today. I know it's not like the level of a main Mario platformer, but it's like, it's amazing that Super Mario RPG with all these changes was able to sell more than literally every other Mario RPG that actually made it to the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of crazy because of that. It's fucking wicked. It's nuts. It's nutty. But I digress, right? I think it's still the best Mario RPG on the system. If you guys want me to recommend you a Mario RPG, I recommend you play Super Mario RPG first, because there are many things that you would get from Paper Mario by playing this game, and it's not even funny. But I digress, right? Super Mario RPG Remake is a phenomenal RPG remade from the, 1990s SNES game, remade from the ground up. It is the best version of the game. I recommend you buy it. Go to Nintendo's website, buy it. Go play it. Go see Super Mario RPG. It's such a goated game. Go buy a copy. Go buy 5 copies. Go buy a copy for your brother. Go buy a copy for your sister. Go buy your copy for your brother. Go buy a copy for your uncle. Go buy a copy for your fucking dad. Super Mario RPG is the best thing on the fucking planet, okay? One of my absolute favorite things on the planet. I know, I'm sorry, but it's like, I'm not sorry, because, again, Super RPG, again, is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Anyways, I digress, guys. After this, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Just enjoy this video. Oh shit, wait, the TV is muted. Fuck.
No, wait. Is it a remake or is it Nintendo Switch Online? Are you recording?
Yes, sir.
No, shot, please.
No shot.
I'm gonna fucking collect that shit. Oh my god, I get Super Mario RPG. They hurt me. They fucking hurt me. It's
a remake.
Holy shit.
Let's go.
Shit, they hurt.
I fucking got you. You think I lost?
Please add the bosses. Dude, it's dead.
Look at Gino. He looks so awesome. November 17th, 2023.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna forever love that reaction video, because I still remember the Nintendo Direct that came out that showed everything. Oh my god, it was amazing. One of the best moments in my life that happened nearly 2 years ago now, dudes. But yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share the video with your friends. That's my REexperince Super Mario RPG Remake. It's still a goated game. Again, go fucking buy it. God bless you all, and man, I gotta do it. Also, one of the best fan songs on the internet, Super Mario RPG Forest Maze Remake. Go listen to that. One of the most goated themes ever in terms of the Super Mario RPG community. Sorry, Okay, let me get the fuck out of here, but, you know, let me just give y'all one little freaking thing, you know, just,
Behold, new captain.
you know, let me just... End the fucking video. Okay. Yep, end it. You're done. Very done. How do you end this shit? Now keep the theme playing. Oh, okay. Also, wait. Didn't get to talk about them this much. Bring Gino back for the next one, please. I would love to see Gino in Super Mario RPG 2 if you ever continue the Super Mario RPG series, please. Thank you, bye. I love you all. God bless you. Gino, I love you. Please come back.